Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Johari. I'm a registered social worker here in Toronto, and it is mid-July 2020. This is the first of my video series on relationships, and in this video I'm going to talk about upcoming topics for this relationship series, and I'll also share the first topic, which will be on communication. So I was recently a guest on Dr. Talia's podcast called The Good Mood Podcast, and we spoke about various topics on relationships, and that's what inspired this relationship series vlog. I am a therapist in private practice, and my specialty is couples, and my subspecialty is working with premarital couples. So I was asked to be on her podcast and just talk about different topics on relationships, and so that's what kind of inspired this relationship series, is covering some of the topics that we covered in that podcast. And be sure to check out that podcast episode on Dr. Talia's podcast, so you can find wherever you find your podcasts, and that will be coming out, I believe she said early August, so check that out when it does come out. But in the meantime, I'm going to start this relationship series and cover some of the topics that we covered during that talk. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to talk about some key topics on relationships, including communication, conflict resolution, intimacy and keeping that love alive, boundaries, adult attachment, love languages, and how to manage inevitable struggles in a relationship. So those topics I'm planning on covering in the coming weeks. And if you have any other topics that you'd like me to include, feel free to email me, and I'll do that. So just let me know. So today I'll share my favorite communication exercise that I do with my couples. It's called active listening. So it's part of the Prep-Enrich program I use. With Prep-Enrich, it's a premarital program, and each individual within the couple does an online questionnaire and inventory, and then those answers are compiled into a report that the couple then gets. The report, I get a report, and it identifies some of the strengths and areas of growth for the couple, and then together we go through the report and we work through a workbook, so the Prep-Enrich workbook, that is loaded with lots of different resources and exercises and activities that we do in our work together. So one of those exercises under the communication area is active listening. So the way I use it, so if each of you, you can do it now as we're talking. So each of you would get a piece of paper and then write out 3 things that you'd like more of or less of in the relationship. And so just 3 things. It could be anything at all. For example, I want more time together. I want less fighting. I want to be able to go on date nights together. It could be anything. So 3 things that you'd like more of or less of in the relationship. And then once each of you have those written down, then take some time to share them with each other. So I usually let my couples take turns, each sharing one at a time. And when you do that sharing, really focusing and tuning in on what the other person is saying. Sometimes we tend to half listen and then half already articulating what we want to say in response. So trying not to do that, but trying to focus on what the other person is saying, really being tuned into what they're saying. and not having distractions of someone possibly interrupting, so finding like a quiet space that you guys can do this kind of exercise, and no distractions with TV, like TV off, like phones off, even if you, or phones on silent if you need to, so no interruptions, so you really have this safe and secure quiet space where you can talk to each other. Okay, so no interruptions, facing each other, looking at each other, being ready to really engage. And so when the speaker shares their first item, they can take as much time as they need to really explain and articulate what it is that they're looking for in that item that they want more of or less of in the relationship. And again, without interruptions. And then the listener to then feedback what they heard the person say. So they can say it something like, okay, so what I hear you saying is that you want X, Y, Z. So really feeding back what you heard the person say. So many times in communication, we jump to our response before we really let the person know that we heard them and understand them. So once the listener feeds back what they heard the person say, then the speaker can say, yes, that's exactly what I meant, and I feel heard. Or they can say, oh, you know what, you got part of it, but this other part is really important to me too. So then they have that chance to kind of clarify or add. Or they can say, you know what, that wasn't really what I meant to say. Let me try to explain it in a different way. So it gives that chance to check in with each other and really truly feel heard and understood, and then be able to do that back and forth. So each person taking a turn sharing what they would like more of or less of in the relationship. So I hope that was helpful. So it's one little tool, one aspect of communication that I like to do with my couples when we first start working together, and that really sets the foundation for the rest of our work together, for us to be able to talk about those difficult things that it might be hard to articulate. So, or hard to even find the time and the protected space to be able to share openly and honestly with each other. And so if you're able to have that open style of communication with each other, then you can create a stronger bond. So I hope that was helpful, and let me know again if there's any other relationship topics you'd like me to cover during this series. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any requests for other videos as well, outside of relationship stuff, feel free to email me, and feel free to like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever it is whatever platform, depending on whatever platform you're watching this on. Just be aware of confidentiality risks in doing that, as it is a public platform. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless.